I know this place like the back of my hand, so if you're planning on visiting Modica, this is the only video you'll need, where you'll learn everything you need to know about this beautiful part of Sicily. And we're starting with breakfast. Chances are you're coming here in spring or summer and you want to try granita, but you should know there's something better, and that is Cremolata. It's like a granita, but the difference is in the ratio. Cremolata has to have at least 80% fruit, so it's way less sugar, and it has a silkier, smoother consistency. And the best place to get it in Modica is Caffè Adamo, one of the oldest gelato and granita places in the city. Family has been doing this for decades. Can't go wrong with Adamo. They also sell some local products that you can bring back home. Now let's dig in. This is blackberries from Mount Etna. We were there last week. You can check out our video on Etna as well. And it's just delicious. Like, you really can feel the fruit flavor. It's just fruit. Totally recommend it. I'm sure Jay, you'll love this as well, because it's not sweet at all. You're not big of a sweet tooth, so I'm curious to see if you like it.
Yeah, it's like pure almond milk. Now it's melted. It melts very fast. There's not much ice in there.
But it's not too sweet, right?
No, it's not too sweet. I think it's a perfect balance. This one is more rich, more like, yeah, there's more almond. You can taste it. Oh, tastes like jam.
Yeah, I know, because it's pure fruit there. How about this? I'm gonna try too.
Amazing. I love mango.
Wow. Another level. This is just delicious. It's incredible. Oh, yeah, the brioche also.
That's really good.
Yeah, the brioche is incredibly fluffy. They know how to make their stuff. Well, now let's eat, because it's melting very fast. It's also the best place to start sightseeing, because it's just a few steps away from one of the main attractions, which is St. Peter's Cathedral, the second main cathedral of Modica. And here's the first fun fact. Unlike most places in Italy that has one patron saint and one main cathedral, Modica has two, St. Peter and St. Giorgio. And there's a big rivalry between the two, because they represent two different parts of town. There's always been a battle between the two factions. And it was so bad that at some point, families who were followers of St. Peter, for example, wouldn't want their daughter or son to marry someone who was a St. Giorgio follower. On the main staircase, you can see 12 statues, and each one is a statue of one of the 12 apostles who were following Jesus. So St. Peter, St. Paul, St. Andrew, etc. And the church, obviously, as you can see, was rebuilt after the earthquake of 1693. And it's in full Baroque style. Right behind the church, there's a line that delineates the two sides of town. And it was like the part of town that belongs to St. Peter and the part of town that belongs to St. Giorgio. And we're gonna go visit it now. When you step out of the main street where all the aristocratic palaces are, you get to where normal people used to live in Modica, which is all the small streets with stairs that lead from Modica Bassa to Modica Alta. It's a more popular place. And this is the sign. This was the invisible border that separated St. Giorgio territory and St. Peter territory that people wouldn't cross, or people would argue about. And if you go down that street, you can also see the birthplace of Salvatore Quasimodo, who was the Nobel Prize for Literature. He was born in Modica.
Hiking up all those small streets made us hungry. Time for lunch.
For lunch, my advice would be to find an agriturismo just outside of town in the countryside, where you can have real local products. People that make their own cheese and use their own veggies from their garden, but it's very meat heavy foods usually, and we don't really eat meat, so we're gonna go for the second best alternative. If you're in town, at least, you don't want to go to the countryside, maybe pick a Osteria or a Trattoria, which are places that do Modican traditional home cooking. And we picked Ricotta & Co, which is one of my favorites, and we're gonna go check it out now. Another tip, if you're on a stricter budget, instead of an Osteria or a Trattoria, you can Google the keywords on maps, gastronomia or rosticceria. These have also like traditional Sicilian Modican home cooking, but it's usually takeaway and cheap. For 4 or 5 euros, you can get like a portion of lasagna or something, and it's still pretty delicious. So use that tip if you wanna save some money. Remember that video where I said Scacce and Modica kicked out McDonald's out of town because of how good they are? You can also order them here, but I suggest get them in a specific Scacce place that I'm gonna show you tonight for dinner. So stick around for that.
Un po' di pane per la ricotta.
Grazie.
Per voi. Olio gradito, un po' di piccante per I legumi?
Sì, grazie mille. So I got the ricotta calda, which is a very traditional thing to eat here. mostly in agriturismos, but also osterias and trattorias do it, and it's very yummy. Pane gonzato, which is a traditional bread from here that has this shape, and it's usually with olive oil, salt, oregano, sun-dried tomatoes turned into pieces, which we call capugliato, and caciotta cheese, or the provoletta, like we call it here, which is a very local cheese as well. And you have had lolli kebab, the traditional pasta shape from here, very similar to cavatelli, but smooth. And favi is fava beans, so this is a very, very local thing that people here have been eating forever. Bread, this is the bread pane di casa, or like home bread, like they call it, which is very dense. It's really hard to chew as well. It's pretty yummy, and it goes very well with the ricotta for dipping and eating. So let's check out how this is. It's perfect because the ricotta makes the bread soft, so it's easier to eat. And the bread, see, it's kind of spongy, so it absorbs the flavor of the ricotta. And the ricotta is so delicious. It's like, if you ever had ricotta from the store, this tastes nothing like that. This is proper ricotta that probably they got from a farm this morning. Amazing, just amazing. Bon appetit. A moment of truth, because I really like cheese and ricotta. Jade doesn't, so I'm curious to see. Dun 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 dun.
Reminds me of those powdered milk stuff.
What? No way.
I mean, the texture is a bit like a smashed tofu thing, but it has this powdered milk aftertaste.
Nothing powdered, it's fresh, but
I
yeah,
know,
it's
but
just sensitive
it's
with
just-
cheese. Try the lollik pavi, let's see.
With some chili.
Yeah, they bring chili. Yeah, they usually goes with chili. Amazing. I was just 27 euros, but we're so full. I can't move. It was delicious and it was a lot of food. Now we have to climb up all the way to Modigaltam to show you the main cathedral and all the other sites. I will try. Let's go.
But first, we need to try Modica's infamous chocolate.
Probably know Modica is famous for its chocolate, and the most famous chocolate shop in Modica is Dolceria Bonaiuto, which is in this small street right in front of St. Peter's Church. It's always packed with tourists. They have a lot of chocolate tasters. It's pretty good, but in my opinion, because of its popularity, it's a little bit overpriced, and I prefer usually to buy my chocolate in other places nearby, like Rizza. But this shop, it's also a landmark in itself, so if you want to visit and buy something here, it's entirely up to you. One thing not many people know is that on top of the Bonaiuto shop here, if you go from the top of those stairs, you have one of the best views in Modica, where you can find the St. Peter's Church and the St. George Church in the same frame. Fun fact. This door, this used to be where the town hall was making the ID for people. Very, very old office. Now I think it's not functioning anymore. There you have it. This is the view. It's even better if you come at blue hour or at night, where you can see the churches are all lit up and also the city lights. It's very, very beautiful sight. While we're here, let's talk about why chocolate Modica is so special. The way people here make chocolate goes back to hundreds of years. The recipe of Modica chocolate was brought by the Spanish during the Spanish kingdom of Sicily. They have this old technique of making the chocolate with sugar. It makes these chocolate blocks that have a very, very specific consistency. You can feel the grains of sugar in your mouth. And the reason for that is that it doesn't get heat up at industrial level. When you usually buy chocolate in the supermarket, the chocolate is smooth because it's industrially heated up. In Modica, they just mix cacao and sugar together. It preserves some flavonoids and some healthy antioxidants of the chocolate that you cannot find in other types of chocolate. So it's also very, very healthy and anti-inflammatory. Obviously, you don't want to eat too much because there's still sugar in it, but you get some benefits from the cacao beans that you don't get when you eat just simple dark chocolate. We're gonna go and try some Modica chocolate, even if we're very full from the lunch. On top of the consistency and the way it's made, the special thing about Modica chocolate is that it's mixed with very unique spice combination. They have chocolate with chili, with salt, with cinnamon. The traditional tastes are chili, salt, cinnamon, vanilla. There's even jasmine. The great thing about the chili, for example, is that it's usually an aftertaste. It's delicious. It's so good.
I'm chewing on the sugar. It's very bitter.
Try the chili.
Tastes almost the same.
Ooh. How about the salt?
Oh, okay. Now it's coming.
Chili.
It's like, yeah, it's really an aftertaste. After you swallow the chocolate and the chocolate is gone, then the chili is like there.
Salt.
The first, when they hit your mouth, it's the same sensation, same flavor, but the salt also comes afterwards.
Just check the price, and for comparison, Buonaiuto would be $2.80 for a 50-gram bar of chocolate, while at retail for $3.20 you get 100 grams. And we're very lucky because it was bad weather, but now it's sunny, and when it's sunny you can really enjoy the colors of the flowers here right in front of St. Giorgio Church. I recommend visiting during spring or summer because when all these flowers are blossoming, the view is just spectacular. And now we're gonna go climb up all the steps there to show you the main church and how beautiful it is. It's true, it's better to come in spring or summer, but it's really hot. It's 181 steps to get to the church. But the great thing is because of the very high ceiling and the marble, it feels really, really cool in here. So it's a perfect place to rest after the climb. You can see I'm very sweaty. Whew. This is the statue of St. Giorgio that is killing the dragon towards the end of April when it's St. George's Day. People who are devoted to this saint carry this statue all around Modica. And if I have to be honest, I had to pick between Peter and Giorgio. I mean, Dragon Slayer, come on. Oh, I'm really tired. I need to find a place where to get a drink and have a good idea of what's a good one nearby. Just as you come down the stairs from San Giorgio, there's Bar Sabadì or Gli Orti di San Giorgio, which is a great place to have a drink, especially if you're thirsty after all the climbing. It also has a beautiful garden full of trees, so it really, really cools down the temperature. So let's go grab something. This place is exactly what we needed. We are surrounded by trees and it feels like the temperature has dropped quite a few degrees. We also have a nice cold lemonade with us, full of ice, and extremely refreshing. Exactly what you need after all those stairs and walking around Modica. So we're gonna chill here for a little bit and just enjoy the green. And now we took our break, we're refreshed. There's still a lot of hours of sunlight, so we have a few options here. If you feel like going to the beach, you could go to Marina di Modica or San Pietro and just enjoy a half day there, have a swim and relax. Or you could still hang out in Modica. We go visit Sicily for a few hours, although it might deserve a day on itself. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to an ancient watermill and have a look at how farmers used to live back in the 18th century. It's a very well preserved place with a very interesting history. Let's go check it out. And this is Corso Umberto I, which is nowadays Modica's main street, but it actually used to be a canal, a river. So Modica back in the days was called the Venice of the South because it was this canal in the main street full of bridges, and it was very picturesque. Unfortunately now it's just a street because there was a big flood in 1902, and there's still a sign there and you can see how high the water went. It's up there.
It's the white label.
Yes, the white label at the top.
Whoa. Okay.
So after the flood, people decided that they were too scared of the river and they were like, okay, we need to cover this, and they turned it into a street. And you can tell Modica Bassa is where richer people used to live, because almost every other palace is a Baroque palace, and it's a magnificent sort of style compared to more traditional or popular housing. And you'll notice a lot of these Baroque balconies, under it they have these decorations with these masks of cherubs, angels, but also some monsters. And those are called apotropai. They're ugly on purpose because the people believe that would be a nice way to scare bad spirits away. So that's why you see all these ugly faces under the balconies. So we're visiting a traditional watermill. It's been passed on for 4 generations. Yet they still make flour like 400 years ago. It's still functioning. We're about to visit. First we're visiting the house of the farmers who used to run the mill. Incredible to think that it's still functioning. No planned obsolescence back then. We're in the room where there's all the weaving tools that the family used. So you can see the old way of making clothes and blankets. And here as well, you can see the top stalks of the wheat that they used to make baskets like this. So they used every part of the wheat to not just to make flour, but also to make anything they might need in the household. And here we have the room with all the tools of the farmer. All the traditional tools of the farmer that he used. Where the miller lived. Crazy. And this in Sicilian is called annaccabientu. It's where you would put your child whenever you went to sleep. It's very old school. We're talking 2-3 centuries ago, but up until 1920s, 1930s, 40s, people still had these things, and people still lived in these kind of caves. Also in Modica, in central town, you can find some. And it's a very efficient way of using the space. It's 5 meters by 7. You have the cooking corner right here, and then here on the left, this used to always have water in it, so the hens, because they had hens that lived all around the house, could drink all the time whenever they needed. Then they could lay their eggs in here. The wife would mix flour and water in this table, and then she would make a dough. And then the dough would be placed here, and the wife would be sitting here, and the man, the husband, would help kneading the water and the flour together to make a dough so that they could make bread, and then they would cook it in the oven. It's the washing area. This is the same spring water of the mill. The soap made of bad olive oil that you couldn't use for eating and soda. Then they would use this to beat the clothes and sometimes add ashes to the water as a bleaching agent and then hang the clothes. And sometimes also rub them in a surface like this to get the stains out. This same water was used for the fields on Sunday, so 6 days a week would be used for the watermill. On the 7th day would be used for the irrigation of the fields. It's crazy! Oh, that's so ingenious, the way they make that wheel spin. Definitely go visit the watermill if you're in Modica. It's a great way to understand how people used to live up until 100 years or so ago. You can still buy the flour from there. We bought a packet of flour. Now it's almost sunset time and we're gonna go to get one of the best views of Modica, and after that it's gonna get to dinner time and we're gonna try some local food again. This is the main viewpoint of Modica called the Belvedere, where you can see all of the historical town center, the Church of San Giorgio with all the flowers. One of the best places to enjoy a sunset in Modica. I'm gonna drop the pin and the location in the comments together with all the places where we've been and some extra suggestions, so make sure you have a look at the comments and let us know if you like this place. It's almost dinner time. We're gonna go and try some very local special street food. I made a video about it. It's said to have kicked McDonald's out of town. We're incredibly lucky because the city lights just turned on, so we have a beautiful view of Modica lit with the city lights. The moon is up in the sky, but the sky is still blue because it's not evening yet. And we got our Scacce. It's the best in town. Warm. This is perfect. The perfect dinner with the perfect view. I'm gonna drop the pin of this location in the comments and make sure you subscribe because there's more videos like this coming where you will know exactly how to spend the perfect day in places like Modica, Sicily, all around Sicily. Now let's see how Jay reacts to this because she's a bit picky with the Scacce, with the food from here, especially if it's carbs. I'm curious to see what's her opinion. Dun 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 dun. How is it?
It's still a bit dry, but the tomato tastes good.
Yay! Is it approved?
I mean, it's approved, definitely.
Okay.
And I still prefer the one from Marina di Ragusa.
Okay.
It's more moist.
Don't tell people from Modica, they're gonna get offended.
Let me try this one.
Oh yes, let's try
Ricotta
the
and spinach?
ricotta and spinach, yes. No, it's not too cheesy.
Okay. Oh, this ricotta really tastes like milk.
Means it's fresh.
Maybe, yeah. It's good. It's not too dry. That's all I'm looking for in this.
And we'll leave you with this beautiful view of Modica. Remember to subscribe to follow our adventures in Sicily, Italy, and soon China.